Back guys, so tonight's camp is a local spot of mine. It's a little bit personal to me. It's where my dad grew up and no doubt hung around, and it's where my brother spent most of his life, and he knows the area inside and out. So speaking to him earlier, going over a few bits, and there's a really good story behind this place tonight, so I'll try and get that through. I am in the tent and the weather is extremely wet by the looks of things. Last night we had 2 degrees, 3 degrees. Tonight it's meant to be in the 8s, so it has drastically warmed up. I'm nearly there, so I'm going to get all the kit out. Using the skillet tonight. I got given that by a really good friend. First time using the skillet on a fire, so we're going to see how we get on. I've got some steak, got some onions, got some potatoes and stuff, so see how we'll go with that. And I'm using a GoPro that was given to me to use, so if the quality flips between the two, you know why. Some beautiful turkey tail mushrooms there. Notoriously good for all sorts of stuff. That tree fell last storm. They've obviously cut it up, but I mean this stuff's too wet to use, but if you took it and dried it out, look at them. So the tent's going here tonight. Church is over there. That'll show you in a bit. River right next to me there. So I finally got camp set up, so I'm just going to give you a quick look before it starts to get dark. So obviously there's nothing there anymore. Brought my own wood this time, sick of playing with wet wood, and I knew we had torrential down rain, so a lot of the wood around here was going to be wet. So as I said earlier, I'm going with the OEX tent again, the Raccoon 2.1. Brilliant tent, opens both sides. This time I brought the camp bed with us, the fishing bed. Beverages, we've got some wine tonight. Got a nice looking beer, I've never tried it, but I thought I'd have a go at that. Got all the cooking stuff, got all the pots and pans there as well in case I need them. Some gloves for the fire. I'm in luxury today, so I've got my underquilt, that's for my hammock. I've put that underneath there, that's just to stop the draft coming from the bottom. Underneath that, I have my Berghaus inflatable mat. I've got my snug pack, sleeping bag. The Elite. Then I've got my luxury Fango thermal pillow. Got a change of clothes for later, all my warm kit. I've got axe, catapult. This guy is going to start coming on a lot of journeys with me, so you'll see him in quite a lot of videos. In here I have the GoPros that friend lent us, a memory bank, 16,000 milliamps, and it also has a DC output as well. So, and in here I have all my personal bits. Torches, batteries, power banks, knives, straws, what else we got in there? Yeah, so I've got 3 power banks, lighters, knives, and other bits that I need, so that's just in one handy thing. Down there I've got my swim kit for the morning, got a light up there ready for tonight. So what you see here is a 12th century graveyard. Now the Monuseum was constructed for a private family, Maxwell's of Springkell, and they had it built is so that they could bury their own family here and have a private graveyard. So a lot of these graves have actually got Maxwell written on them. 2 types of stone here. You can see one there, the darker red, and then you'll see a later version of stone which is there on the corner and a little bit more up there. People would have heard of the Border Reivers. They basically dominated the borders of Carlisle and around that area, Scotland and below the borders, for around about 1610. Don't quote me on that, could be wrong. It's around about that area. And here would have stood Bell Tower. Now, it's not here now because a lot of people pinched the bricks, stones that were used here because they were quite well built, and they used them in other structures. So Bell Tower was originally here. Now, once upon a time, there was a lady called Helen Irvine, and she lived in Bell Tower, and she was one of the prettiest ladies around here, and she had the hearts of every man going. Everybody wanted to wed her, everyone wanted to probably bed her, I don't know, but very, very, very popular. Back in the day, obviously, people's family would have chose who their husbands was, and it was to bring wealth into the family. Just wanted her to marry someone called Robert Bell, and he was from Brackett House, and he was quite a wealthy guy. However, she only had eyes for Adam Fleming, which the parents did not like. So she would meet him quite often at the river spot where you've just seen my tent, which is about 20 meters away from this church. Now, Robert got quite jealous of this, and he would quite often spy on them, and he would spy on them numerous times. There was one night, and Helen and Adam would be down the river, and Robert would be stalking them. One night where Adam met Helen, and they were on this bank here, just further along here, getting up to no good. And up on there, on the distance there, Robert was hiding and watching with pure jealousy. So upon these two fondling each other, they decided to go separate ways. One went that way, one went the other way, because the families would have saw them. As that happened, shot run out from up there. Robert had a pistol with him, and through jealousy and rage, he shot that pistol. This very spot here, Helen jumped in the way of the bullet and took a bullet to the chest. So she lay dead there. Upon that happening, Adam, in a fit of rage, ran across the beck, up the other side, and brutally, and it's recorded, brutally slashed, beheaded and mutated. Now, it's said that Adam spent the night with Helen on the banks here, and after doing so, he fled to Spain and lived there for a good 4 or 5 years, just to escape the wrath. While he was away, he was accused of double murder, and so obviously Adam was no longer to return to this country. He was in hiding in Spain, where he should live out the rest of his days. A few years went by, and as the butler of these grounds came down to do his walkabout, he noticed a body. The body laying on this grave right here. Now, this is the grave of Helen, and the reason he was sat on there is because he came back and he laid there and he killed himself. And upon killing himself is when the butler found him. So in a mark of respect for his love, they buried him right next to her. So this is obviously Scotland's Bonnie and Clyde story. And I think that's quite fascinating. As you can see there, 2 graves. And what a history. It is derived from a poem called Helen of Kirkconnell. Which has been made into a song. Love a good beanie. Oh, what a difference. Murmuration, I believe. Wrong birds, but there's no farmer in the field, so they're certainly not chasing crops. before I left home, I boiled off some potatoes, cubed them, and then I added some barbecue spice, margarine, and a bit of coconut oil. So what I'm going to do, the coals have now gone down a little bit. I'm going to get a decent bit of tin foil, transfer the potatoes onto it. And I'm going to make that into like a pocket. So, and then I'm just going to put it on the coals there and let that cook off. And once they're ready, I've got my skillet pan ready. Bit of coconut oil in there. Nice juicy ribeye. Put some onions, peppers in. And I'm going to finish it off with a little bit of beef stock. And that should do us nicely. It's not too cold out. Fire's burning nicely. Now, a really good tip when you're cooking steak is when it's cooking, it's under extreme heat, so that muscle is contracted, and because it's contracted, it doesn't let all the juices retain in the muscle. When you let it rest, the muscle opens up and all the juices get saved in there. Now, if you notice, when you cut a steak on your plate, all the juices run out because it's wasted. Basically, it's all out of there. So the longer you don't cut the steak and let it rest after, the more of those nutrients you're going to retain in there. I'm just going to let that rest for a couple minutes, and all the juices that are left in the pan, just going to have the beef stock. Put some water in there. Give that a good little stir. I love these little Morrison gravy stocks that you get. You can get them from anywhere, but I got mine from Morrison's. But they're just perfect for camping. You get 4 for like £1, I think, or 4 for 50p maybe actually. But you just pop them in your bag and just add them to a bit of water and whatever you got in the pan, and they make you some brilliant food. I'm just going to let that bubble off. I'm going to cut the steak. Like I say, I let it rest for a little bit. You just want the muscles to relax so that all the juices can then be retained. And like I say, normally if you cut it open, you'll have it all spit out onto your plate. Now when I cut it open, all the juices are left inside of there. So there we have it, ribeye steak, peppers, onions, barbecue, potatoes and a gravy stock. In true camping style, I forgot my spoon. So I'm just gonna probably end up with fingers, but let's give the potatoes a try first. Potatoes are still hard actually, they're quite nice. Try a bit of this meat. Beautiful. Also, letting the meat rest for a little longer, you end up with succulent meat rather than like dry, rubbery texture. Perfect. Well, I won't tell you how nice that was, but I think you can tell. So I'm just going to get tidied up and then see what logs we've got left. Quite a few still. And then just chill in front of the fire with a book, I think. You want to clean in your pans while you're out camping. Tip 1, just get a skillet. Tip 2, put some water in it. 3, scrape it. 4, tip the water away. 5, near enough clean pan. Cheers, Buffer.
Morning guys, it's currently 7:30. That's got to be easily the best night's sleep that I've ever had, so I'm going to get up, I'm going to try and catch sunrise, get some beans going on the fire, then we're going to go for a swim. So the sunrise is not quite out yet. It's a nice warm morning. I don't think that water's going to be warm, but we're getting in it. Beans with sausages. Got my coffee there. Saved the log from last night, so once that takes, get the water on. And then once we have a hot brew and some breakfast, I think I may walk down to that corner and see if there's a pool that I can climb into.
There, but a nice quiet bit here. I was holding on to the edge, I ain't going to get swept down there, so now or never. Get in, dip my head under, get back out, and then we're going to go. So before you go in, you want to make sure you've got warm kit to put straight on, like a really warm jacket. These are just so I can go in the water and I'm standing on the rocks. They don't destroy my feet. Only £22, they're the best things I've ever had. They've got holes in the bottom. Make sure you've always got a lifeguard on duty. Towel, as soon as you get out, some gloves. So what I'm going to do is get changed, get in. I have got my shorts, so it's boxers. Let's see how cold this is. Whoa, let's get dried. Oh, you fucker. Toasty. So that's me now in my warm kit, nice and toasty. So there we are, guys, another successful camp. Everything was perfect, state was perfect, really warm night. I think it got down to about 6 degrees, which is not too bad at all, especially for Scotland. A nice morning swim, and now just heading to get a bit of food, nice hot coffee, and then that's just for the day. So appreciate everyone watching. If you haven't subscribed, please go down below, subscribe, it does help. Yeah, and happy camping until the next video.